Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are very healing to parents all over the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not in our time zone can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Mark, and thank you for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark, for being here. I feel so grateful, and I'm sure that all of you have been able to see his wonderful columns that are published in the newsletter every single month. And this has been for years now that he's been answering some of our most pressing questions about the afterlife, about our children, about what they're doing. He became clairaudient at the age of 10, and since has been blessed with numerous miracles, revelations, and spiritually transformative experiences. He has also written quite a few incredibly healing books. One of the first ones that I read was Soul Proof, that became a documentary as well. He's written The 11 Questions, where he interviewed some of the most incredible experts in the afterlife field about 11 very interesting questions about whether they believed in God, about what the afterlife is like, and all different things. I highly recommend it. He's written a book called Radiant Wellness and about greater reality living. And I think that all of you are aware that he's also creating a soul phone with Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Gary Schwartz at the University of Arizona, for all of us to someday be able to communicate with our loved ones in spirit. And so without further ado, I'd love for all of you to welcome Dr. Mark Pitstick.
Thank you. Good evening. It's truly an honor. You know, I get so many emails, people thanking me for all I do, and especially for helping parents heal parents. But really, the honor and the privilege is all mine, because it's my belief, based in part by good clinical evidence, that you all are evolved souls. You're advanced souls who love so much and who were willing to come to Earth to make positive changes so much that part of the possibility is not set in stone, but you came in knowing that that might involve the passing of your child. You knew it would break your human heart, but you also knew it might open your third eye, you know, help you remember the big picture of life. So for that, I salute each one of you, truly. So I'm sorry about the passing of your child and all goes with that, but I'm glad you're in touch with these resources, information, support that can help you move from being bereaved to shining light parent. And I may use the word parent, but that also recognizes that you may be a family member, a sibling, you know, a dear friend. So I want to honor that. You won't have to take notes about what I'm doing today, because everything I'm going to be sharing will be in 2 articles. Article number 2 at my website, soulproof.com, which is entitled When a Child Changes Worlds. And then article number 41, which is about the A.R.T technique, which we'll be doing tonight. So articles 2 and 41 at soulproof.com. Now, this technique and everything I teach and believe is based on the collective scientific, clinical, and firsthand experience evidence that, first of all, you and your quote departed loved ones, and you may see me doing this. I'm not doing rabbit impressions. This is a quotation mark because they're not departed. So much of our language is just wrong. So you and your quote departed loved ones continue living after bodily death. We've definitively demonstrated that scientifically at the University of Arizona. And after multi-center studies replicate, we'll be able to accurately and responsibly say that life after death has been scientifically proven. So that's exciting, a few months away from that. Also, another assumption is that you'll see your child again when you pass on, and you can do that now. And we have recorded another presentation I gave called Facilitated After-Death Communication Technique, a way you can do that on a regular basis and have a different sort of, but very real and meaningful visit with your child. Another clear indication from all this evidence that you and your child both are infinite, which means ever expanding, eternal, integral, and beloved parts of God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. And that word infinite is important because, people will say, well, if we're eternal beings and we're one with the one, why wouldn't we just stay in heaven forever and sing happy songs? Well, once you do that at your house for a while and see how quickly that gets boring. So souls like to grow, they like to learn, they like to explore, they like to have adventures and so on. And that's how we grow. That's how we add to the totality of what God is. So that's part of the infinite thing. That, as I mentioned, you and your child are soulmates who likely volunteered to come to Earth for 4 main reasons. And SAGE is the acronym: service, adventure, growth, and enjoyment. That you and your loved ones are likely together in a different slice of life right now. Can't get into this much, but varied evidence indicating that it only takes about 20 to 25% of our total personal energy to manifest in a place like Earth. And so you and your child may literally be together right now, watching this from a different vantage point and cheering the part of you that thinks you're alone, you're on Earth, your child died, and maybe God forgot about you, all that. They're like, come on, can't you remember? They're rooting you on to the finish line. And 6 other pieces of great news that, again, come from this collective evidence that are listed in article number 2. Now, I apologize in advance if I ever sound judgmental or critical, because I truly am not. Anybody who knows me can attest to that. This topic is difficult to talk about. I haven't mastered the language, and I'm still working on mastering this technique in my own life. So keep that in mind. No judgment, no criticism. Y'all have gone through the worst of the worst. However, if we just sit along and have a pity party, nobody's going to heal, and nobody's going to achieve the very goals that you came here to do. So, as you know, feelings of pain, sadness, anger, guilt, loneliness, fear, etc., can accompany any loss. And I'm going to use, the rabbit ears for loss also, because really you can't lose anything. That's why I say death is not a goodbye. It's just a see you later. And that includes the bodily death of a child. And you notice how I say that in a kind of cumbersome way. I didn't say your child died. I said his or her body did. And there's a huge, huge difference, because it turns out this human form is much, much less than 1% of all we are. The rest, all the memories, intelligence, love, preferences, etc., continues on and can manifest in different ways. So again, it's very easy to fall into these lower energy emotions, term from David Hawkins, PhD, MD, author of Force versus Power, pain, sadness, anger, guilt, etc. Now, depending on how long it's been since your child passed, you might, it might be your reality right now. And for many people, that's normal in the beginning. Wow, survival's the name of the game. You get through one moment, one day at a time. However, if it's been longer and you're still having that a lot, you may want to use a technique like this to help you move on, to transmute those lower energy emotions into higher ones. Be real clear, whatever you're feeling right now is okay. At the same time, it's possible to upgrade those and even have simultaneous feelings. I noticed when my dad passed, he and I were very close, and I was happy that he's no longer suffering. And at the same time, I was very sad that he had passed on. And I was like, what? How can I feel happiness and sadness at the same time? Because usually as humans, we don't. They're considered mutually exclusive. But it is possible to create space for the grieving, but also the reaching for a higher feeling thought. So that's the purpose of this A.R.T technique. You can simultaneously choose to, and the A stands for appreciate, all the wonderful times and blessings from that relationship, all the great experiences you had together, the rich memories that are yours forever. And I'll give some examples of these later. The R stands for realize. Realize that you will see each other again. It's a scientific fact now and tons of clinical evidence for it. So it's not the I hope we do someday. You can count on it. You can bank on it. So you can feel joyful that your loved one is now in a dimension characterized by peace, joy, love, and all that. So these are the positive things you can realize. And then the T stands for transform. Transform each aspect of your life for the better, not in spite of, but because of this passing. As a result of having known her, this honors her life by you shining more brightly, evolving, and serving others. And I hear beautiful stories every week of people who were, they were in the depths, they were depressed, they were thinking about suicide and so on. But then they said, okay, I want to make my child proud. I'm going to do something to serve others, and whatever that is for you. And as a result of that, then started feeling better, started touching those higher energy emotions. Now, this is a very deep topic. It recognizes the choices that we each have at every minute to reach for a higher feeling thought. And that's a really key phrase, reach for a higher feeling thought. I actually stole it from Esther and Jerry Hicks, Law of Attraction. In my clinical psych training, we learned that depression can be induced if you walk around with your head down, shoulders slumped, you breathe shallowly, and you think and talk a lot about sad or negative topics. Again, in clinical experiments, normal people who were in no way depressed became depressed by doing this. Down posture, breathing shallowly, thinking and speaking negatively about sad or bad things. So guess what? You can use the reverse of that to feel better. Even if you feel like you want to die, you stand up straight, you sit up straight, you breathe deeply, and we'll be doing that in this session soon. And you speak about positive things. Even if there are 99 sad and bad things in your life, you pick that one positive one. Now, this isn't Pollyannish, pie in the sky. This is powerful. It works. And I know many of you have experienced this firsthand. This is also partly about being in the present moment. And again, looking for one blessing. And there's a beautiful story from the Hindu tradition to help you remember this. As the story goes, a wise man was walking in the jungle one day and heard a tiger roaring. Well, he quickened his pace to get to his village, but could tell that the tiger was getting very near, and then started running, came upon a sheer cliff and dropped down hundreds of feet to jagged rocks. So here comes the tiger. Here's the jagged rocks and this big fall. But at the last moment, he noticed a grapevine growing over the cliff. So he scrambled down it. The tiger just settles in, knowing he may have a meal here. So here's this wise man holding on to the vine, but he notices this vine, which is old and dry, is starting to unravel. And it's just a matter of time before it breaks. But just before it did, he noticed some wild strawberries growing on the face of the cliff. And he plucked a few and tasted them and thought, I think those are the best strawberries I've ever had. So think about that one, let that one resonate a bit within you, but that's how we can be. And again, this isn't based on, airy fairy stuff. This is based on sound psychological principles of choosing the higher feeling thoughts, and based on all that clinical and scientific evidence I mentioned that your loved one did not really die, just the physical form. And that's part of eternal life. We've been through it many times probably. So this is a part that can sound a little judgmental because the A.R.T technique recognizes that ultimately you're responsible for the quality of your life. It's tough to take responsibility. It's a lot easier to say, poor me, I'm a helpless victim, woe is me, I can't do anything, versus saying, all right, I'm going to do something about this. How I feel next week is going to be the direct result of what I do in the meantime. My thoughts, words, and deeds. Are they going to be more positive, high energy? Are they going to be lower? And by the way, this higher energy emotion word is actually a little misleading because really who and what we are is energy. So it's not just that you're increasing your emotions, it's upgrading who you are. You understand that this physical form is a bit of an optical delusion as a result of our limited brain receiver. So what we really are timeless and deathless beings of energy. So again, you're expanding, improving, refining who and how you are. Well, this is a really big thing. And it's so easy to fall asleep for earthlings. And that's why sometimes they'll set up horrific events like this that can wake you up, shake you up, help you have a spiritually transformative experience. And if you're a newcomer to this, you might be like, what? That's horrible. Who would ever do this? But you have to remember, again, we're eternal beings. Our time on earth is a blink of an eye in the span of eternity. We're integral parts of God. We're together in all sorts of settings right now. And then you can realize, oh, okay, it is worth a little pain to go through this. And it's all about love. So initially, this technique might seem a little difficult to master, but using it even a little bit opens a way to what we've been talking about, becoming a active, positive, conscious creator of your life. And then everyone you meet is touched by that. So let's talk about a few examples. And this is the quick introduction, by the way, before we go into the actual session. So the A, appreciate. Let's say it's coming up on a holiday. I know you just went through some of those. Her birthday, your son's anniversary of returning home with a capital H. You feel yourself feeling sad, remembering the circumstances of the passing, or thinking about the ramification, I won't have grandchildren from him or whatever. You know how the mind can go. At that moment, you decide, because ultimately it's a decision, you decide to be grateful about wonderful past events. Think about past holidays, past birthdays, where you had so much fun together, and realize some people never have kids, they're childless. And so if you had one, you had more than some people. But regardless of that, you just focus on the positive. You appreciate, thank you for having those wonderful times we had together. Pull out photos and videos. You might cry, yep, but you also can get in touch with the gratitude for the positives. An example of the R for realize, you catch yourself thinking, I'll never see him again. And it's easy to feel like that because there are a lot of atheists and agnostics out there, especially scientists and psychologists. Many of them are. Or you may have been brought up in religious teachings that are so bizarre that you rejected them, understandably, and you haven't replaced them with good, enlightened, evidence-based, love-based teachings. But whatever the reason, you might catch yourself thinking, oh, I'm never going to see him again. As soon as you do that, think, wait, stop, and resolve to remember, I will see him again. We know now. This is the first year, really, we can say this affirmatively or definitively. We're going to have a glorious reunion someday. Picture what that like. You know, who's going to be in the greeting line with you. Plus, I'm going to experience visiting with him now in different ways, like this facilitated ADC technique. And then transform. You may notice that your words are angry. You catch yourself looking angry, being angry, talking angry, people kind of shifting back from you. As soon as you realize that, you choose to positively transform yourself. What's the opposite of anger? Hope, optimism. So you choose to positively transform yourself, kind of like transmuting straw to gold, because you deserve it, because the world needs your greatest gifts, because likely that was part of your soul's mission for all this, and to honor your child, to make your child happy. Also, you too then will be on the more the same wavelength. So wise teachings from the Bible to ancient Greek philosophy said, as you think, so shall you be. So that's why this is very important to upgrade your thoughts, words, and deeds, because they literally shape how you feel and how you are. Now, some people like to gently snap a rubber band. This isn't about, creating friction burns or anything, but some people have a little rubber band that, has your child's name and angel anniversary. So you can just pull it a little bit to remind you in the beginning. But if you use this art technique that we're about to do once a week, after a while, this becomes your normative cognition, your usual way of thinking. So it's it's kind of a game. My fiance and I have a game. It's like if we say or think something negative, boom. And over big things. I don't share my stuff. I haven't had a child pass, but I've had my own share of things over the years and some recently. But how quickly can we remember? How quickly can we remember God is not asleep at the wheel? I don't know if you grew up with the wonderful church hymn, his eye is on the sparrow and I know he watches me. And it's true. So however you word it, how quickly can you remember that and then act accordingly? Start living in a more high energy way. So in this session, you'll have the opportunity to visit 3 aspects of your life. Now we'll focus mainly on your child in this, but know that you can use this for anything else in your life, illness, financial losses, broken relationships, etc. So we'll have three opportunities, aspects of your life to visit with this A.R.T. And it's important to know that 2 things may happen. First of all, past losses and difficult challenges have the most stuck energy behind them. So they may be like, me, deal with me, because your inner intelligence wants to deal with this stuck lower energy. So it's freed up. It's kind of like turning on circuit breakers again. Carolyn Mason and others have talked about this. So more difficult challenges may pop up first, or your inner wisdom, especially if you're, fragile and earlier in your grieving, you may want to deal with some early ones first and kind of get the hang of it. So whatever pops up, I will say, be aware of what pops up that the totality of you wants to deal with. I'll use a standard induction process, alternating, contracting, relaxing major muscle groups, having you visualize going through a series of events, walking down steps, crossing a stream on stones, counting from 10 to 1 and all that. So basic stuff, just follow along. It's important to breathe diaphragmatically through this technique. So you're probably familiar with that, but in case you're not, when you breathe in, and it helps to put your hand on your abdomen. When you breathe in, you should feel your belly bulge out. Deep breath in, and then when you exhale, your abdomen comes up and in. That's how you get maximum inflation of your lungs, not deep breath like that. That actually constricts your lung capacity. So diaphragmatic breathing throughout. Now, all of this, the counting, the visualizations, my voice, the diaphragmatic breathing, is designed to deeply relax your brain. Remember, we talked about how it limits what you can perceive. Evan Alexander and I talked about, from his viewpoint as an academic neurosurgeon, mine as a doctor of chiropractic, fully 95% of what your brain does is inhibit sensory input. That allows you to function, and it was especially important during the caveman and cavewomen days, but now it can be detrimental if we block out the rest of the greater reality, the rest of life that's there, including your child right beside you and other things. So again, it quiets the mind so you can sense the other 99.9% of reality that's usually not perceived in the waking state when your brain's so actively analyzing, judging. Now, your insights may come through in different ways. They may come through in little fragments, or you may receive a full and rapid download, or you may see things unfold like a movie in sequential order. So however it does, no problem. You may see yourself as you're going through this art treatment of an aspect of your life. You may see yourself being intensely involved in it, like, back to when your child's body was dying, or you may be watching it impassively as from above. And again, either way is fine. You know that when you're going through something like this, your brain may still continue to judge a little. Oh, this could be your imagination. You could be making all this up. So just say, shh, for just 30 minutes, would you just kind of pipe down, and then you can judge later about this. Know that you will remember everything you need to afterwards. And the big key is you want to notice what pops up or floats in. Those are the key words. That's how you start tapping into your unconscious, the superconscious. So at this point, unless there are any questions about any of this, let's have you take a 5-minute break. You ought to do 4 things. Go to the bathroom if you have to, because we'll be at least half hour, maybe more like 35 minutes. A sip of water, have some Kleenex if you might get emotional, and chapstick is nice because you're going to be breathing open mouth. Your mouth will be parted open slightly, and that's why you're the chapstick, so your lips don't get dry. Any questions or concerns about any of that?
Mark, it looks like there aren't any questions. I have people in the chat box saying that this is really resonating with them in terms of what you're saying right now. So this is wonderful. And again, we'll wait just a few more minutes before you get started. Make sure that everyone, should we tell people to maybe turn off their screen, or do you want them to go ahead and have them on? What is it that you prefer for this exercise?
I think it's best for people to relax if their audio and video is turned off, and that way, because again, excuse me, once we get to the facial muscles, you'll be contracting, relaxing. I mean, you're going to look like making faces and stuff, and then afterwards, your mouth should be open slightly. And some people are a little concerned about me taking pictures and put it on Facebook, which I've been known to do. And yeah, and I will block my video as well. Um, yeah,
Okay, that's
because
good to
and
know.
that way people who are watching recordings, there's more privacy and confidentiality about this. All right, so go ahead and do the things we mentioned if you need to, and yep, we'll stir it back.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mark. I'll go ahead and turn off my video. I know that when I do guided meditations for yoga, I always tell people that they can turn off their screens if they'd like to, just to make sure that they feel more comfortable doing it. So that's, I definitely don't want to have my face looking like that on one of your Facebook pictures. So I know you would never do that, though.
Yeah,
Anyway.
while we're waiting, I'll tell you a funny story I was thinking about before this. I'm fairly intense and serious, as you may have noticed. I've been this way my whole life. When I was my thinking is that I came to this lifetime, and there's some evidence from multiple sources that I had this vision. I never totally forgot the really real place. And so it was a little tricky for me to be on Earth. Like, what? People are doing what? So they called me the little old man. It's like I was always thinking about things, trying to figure it out. Well, the story is in my senior year of high school, I was in the final 3 participants, and whoever got the most votes would shadow the mayor for a day. The second would meet with the city council, and the third would travel with the dog catcher for one day. So David, these are real names, he came out with 10 friends. They had banners, elect David, and these were all big guys. So they carried him off the stage, roaring and cheering. Jocelyn, she had 20 friends. They had 2 banners and they had balloons, and they're all cheering. Me, I came out by myself and gave a straight up talk. And it was, I had thought about, okay, here I get to talk to the whole school. It's 2,000 students. Wow, what an opportunity for 5 minutes. And I said, hey, we're young. We have our whole lives ahead of us. Just think what we could do, just this people in the room, if we got in touch with why we're here and our gifts and shared them and loved one another and so on. Well, anyway, so the votes came in, and I learned so much about what a dog catcher does in the course of a day. It was amazing.
That's adorable. Well, congratulations on getting elected to be able to. I think that being with dogs is more fun than being with people most times. So, anyway, that's adorable. Well, it looks like everybody's back, or else their screens are turned off. So maybe we can get started. I'm going to turn off my screen and my audio, but I'm here available for you if you need me, Mark.
Wow, everyone's turning off their video and so on. It's optimal if you're sitting at it, please, because it's going to be a very deep relaxation induction. And if you're lying down, there's a good chance you're going to snooze out and you'll get some rest, but you will miss the technique. So sitting up, please. Elizabeth, do you have the capability to just block everyone? Because I'm getting some kind of goofy things going on here on the screen.
Yes,
Looks like
I
we have just
do.
a few.
Let me just make sure that everybody is muted. If you, by any chance, I have some people still coming in though.
Yeah.
Let me just check here and make sure. It looks to me like everyone is muted though, but they
Yeah,
don't.
not muted, video block.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, so
I'm
when
not
I'm doing this, I'm
sure
not
if.
seeing like somebody's ceiling fan and the pictures spinning
Yeah,
around.
I should be able to do that. Let me go ahead and and take off their video for them. Some of them might not know how to do that. So I'm going to stop the videos on everyone as I'm going through in case people haven't been able to do it themselves. Don't worry, if you can't, don't get panicked. I'm going through and doing this one by one. And then when you want to turn your videos back on, I will help do that after as well. Let's see.
All right, great. Let's get started. Sitting comfortably, ideally with your feet flat on the floor, your hands on your thighs, or sitting up in bed. But you want to be in a position so you're going to be comfortable for a while. It's important to be physically comfortable so your mind can travel in ways it normally doesn't. Let's begin by alternately contracting and relaxing major muscle groups, starting with your feet. Take a deep breath in and tense your feet and leg muscles. Hold those muscles tight. Notice the tension, hold it, and then as you exhale, let them relax. Feel heavy and warm. Now the muscles of the thighs and buttocks, take a deep breath in and squeeze your buttocks together and tighten your thigh muscles. Hold it. Notice how unnatural that feels, and then how good it feels to let them go heavy. Next, the muscles of the stomach and low back. Take a deep breath in and tighten up your stomach muscles as if someone's going to punch you in the stomach. Hold that tension. Notice how uncomfortable that feels and how good it feels to relax, and let them relax. Now the muscles of the chest and upper back. Take a deep breath in and tighten those muscles up. Hold that tension. Hold it, and exhale and let those muscles feel heavy, warm, comfortably relaxed. Now the muscles of the hands and arms, deep breath in and clench your fist. Tighten up the muscles in your arms and hands. Hold that tension, hold it, and let them drop and go heavy. As you continue to breathe, slowly and deeply, focusing on my voice. Now the muscles of the shoulders, your upper traps, take a deep breath in and raise your shoulders up toward your ears. Hold that tension, hold it, and let them drop. Next, the muscles of the face, deep breath in and clench your teeth together, tensing the muscles in the jaw around the mouth. Hold that tension, and now let those muscles drop and let your mouth part open slightly for the remainder of this technique. Next, the muscles around the eyes. Squeeze your eyes together as if someone's going to poke you in the eye. Feel the tension around all those muscles in the area and let them go heavy. And finally, the muscles of the forehead. Deep breath in and raise your eyebrows up toward your hairline. Squinch up those forehead muscles. Hold the tension, hold it, and let them relax. Now take a moment and mentally survey your body, please. And if there are any areas that still seem tense, simply tense and relax those on your own. Good. Now it's time to use the diaphragmatic breathing, as we mentioned. Belly out when you breathe in, belly in as you exhale at a depth and rate that's comfortable for you. Picture, imagine, or visualize as clearly as you can, and using all of your senses, yourself standing in front of a set of stairs. And as I count from 10 to 1, see, feel, hear, and know yourself going down the stairs safely, securely. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Seeing yourself now before an ornately decorated door and opening it easily as I count from 3 to 1. 3, 2, 1. Finding yourself on the other side in a misty area, like a very heavy morning fog, so dense that you can't see in any direction. But you're fine with that, feeling so good, so relaxed, so peaceful. Feel the moistness of this air on your skin as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply. As you do so, you notice above some light shining through, like sunlight, like the light of Creator and Sustainer of all life. And you notice this light reveals a path before you that you hadn't noticed before. Feel yourself walking along now, hearing birds sing, feeling the rustling of the breeze in your ear, the sunshine on your skin, feeling so good and peaceful. And as you walk along, you actually hear, before you see it, a babbling brook, a shallow stream. As you approach the brook, you notice again the damp air on your skin, the beautiful sounds. And you notice 10 wide, flat, dry stones extending from your side to the other side of the stream. With my count, see yourself safely, securely stepping from one stone to the next. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Seeing before you now a veil, a white translucent veil that extends as high and as far from one side to the other as you can see. And you know this veil represents a portal, an entry point to an even deeper relaxed state, one in which you'll be able to perceive more of life, including how you can use the art technique in the toughest of tough situations. See yourself slipping through this veil now and noticing on the other side a beautiful manicured lawn, huge trees, stately buildings in the background, Greek, Roman architecture. Now find yourself instantly transported in front of what many have called the Hall of Truth, a place where souls go to learn and remember, grow. Envision this hall however it comes to you, whatever color, size, composition. And to your delight, see your spiritual support team, your angels, guides, master teachers, or higher energies if you prefer, greeting you. These loved ones who have known you from the beginning of time and so highly regard you. See and feel them sending you a healing shower, just what you need to charge you up, prepare you, take away some of the sadness if you're experiencing deep grief, giving you just what you need to have a optimal experience now. Find yourself going up the steps into the amphitheater with your team all around you and being seated in a special chair with sense assisters, a screen so you can see, speakers so you can hear, kinesthetic detector so you can feel all the clues and information you need. And again, all around you, your team supporting you, guiding you, assisting you, protecting you through this session. Take a moment to pray and intend that you will be literally surrounded, protected by the light, and that only good and God, love and light will come from this encounter. With this setting and continuing to breathe slowly and deeply, consider a situation, a specific situation you want to upgrade your focus about, one that you find yourself perhaps falling into more negative thoughts, words, and deeds about. Just let this situation float in. It could be something that happened before, during, or after the bodily death of your child, or any related matter since. After I count from 5 to 1, let yourself gain more clarity about how you can make this part of your life a work of art. During the minute of silence after each question, be aware of the first response that spontaneously arises. If you don't receive a full message or vision, note any clues that pop up: words, pictures, feelings, colors, people, places. It's time to begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First, what can you appreciate about this challenge? The A in art. What are some blessings and lessons that occurred that perhaps you've not fully appreciated? Consider the rich array of experiences and memories that are yours forever, literally stored in the Akashic records, and choose to focus on those versus loss, the sad and bad things. Good. Next, what is something positive you can realize, the R in art, about this event? What are the upsides that can help you feel even just a little more love, peace, joy, gratitude, meaning, and enthusiasm? Good. Next, how can you transform your life? The T for the better. Again, not despite this difficult event, but because of it. How can you have a spiritually transformative experience and serve others and grow in ways not possible if you hadn't gone through this difficulty? You're doing great. Now see yourself back in the Hall of Truth, surrounded by your team, and take a few moments to relax and recharge. See them washing away like an angel wash, lower energy emotions, sadness, guilt, blame, anger, etc., and filling you with higher energy ones, peace, joy, love, meaning. Now consider a second situation you want to upgrade your focus on. You want to apply the A.R.T formula toward. Just let it float in. As before, it could be something that happened before, during, or after your child changed worlds. After I count from 5 to 1, gain more clarity about how you can make this part of your life a work of art. During the minute of silence after each question, be aware of the first response that spontaneously arises in your awareness. If you don't receive a full message or vision, note clues that pop up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First, what can you appreciate about this challenge? What are some blessings and lessons that occurred? Next, what is something positive you can realize about this event? How can this part of your life have a happy, inspiring work of art ending. Good. Next, how can you transform your life for the better because of this event? What positive actions can you take? How can you commit to upgrading your life to increase meaning for both you, your child, and others around you? Good. Now see yourself back in the Hall of Truth, surrounded by your team, washing away the lower energy emotions and filling you with peace, joy, energy, and preparing you for the third and final for this session challenge you want to apply the ART formula to. I'm going to count from 5 to 1 and consider now how you can apply the A.R.T formula to this third area of challenge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First, how can you appreciate aspects of this challenge? What are some of the rich array of experiences and memories that are yours forever? And how can you choose to focus on those versus, quote, loss? Good. Now, consider something positive you can realize about this event. What are some upsides that can help you feel more love, peace, joy, gratitude, and enthusiasm? And finally, how can you transform this part of your life for the better? How can you serve others in ways and grow and evolve in ways not possible if you hadn't gone through this difficulty? And now just a few more moments to gain additional clarity about anything you've covered today. How can you especially choose to appreciate, realize, and transform the difficult parts of your life? Let those insights just pop in. Good. I'm going to count forward now from 1 to 5. And with each count, let yourself gently and gradually bring your awareness back into your body and the room. 1, 2, 3. Becoming more aware of the chair in which you are sitting and the clothing on your body. 4. Starting to wiggle your toes and fingers a bit. And 5. When you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Now, as people come back online, the real power of this technique is if a couple people can share what they experienced or what they didn't experience, and maybe you feel like, you know, gosh, I'm having a little trouble applying that. Here's what I'm going through. Here's what I find myself doing, and I can work with you to do that. So however they would signal that to you, Elizabeth
Well,
and Irene.
Mark, Doris has already said, well, that broke me wide open. And I would love to have her maybe say a few words about what happened, if that's something that you
Sure,
would be okay with. Let me go
perfect.
ahead and find Doris if I can. Here she is. Can I unmute you, Doris? You're moving. It's funny. Every time I ask you to unmute, it moves your, let's see. Are you okay with unmuting, or maybe, oh, how frustrating. Let's see. Doris, are you there? Okay. So,
I'm unmuted. I'm unmuted.
okay, good. Can I actually turn your camera on? Is that okay?
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want him to be able to see you. So I'm going to pin your video. So your beautiful daughter, Ashley, is on here. So Mark, can you see Ashley?
I can hear.
Okay, but Ashley's the picture of her daughter. So I was just saying, can you see the picture? It's pinned. So go ahead and speak, Doris.
Well, it's really weird because, you know, I had the EVP this week. It was my grandson's 5th birthday. And I was already starting where you just took me and broke me wide open. So like all those things that you were saying, I resonated with because I'm feeling and I'm going through that process. And it's like really right now, and her 1 year is coming up, which you brought that up too, like how we think about that stuff ahead of time. And then the other part of me feels like I'm really, really far ahead. And I like went through the whole process of the good and the bad and the ugly through that. Kind of reminded me of like a past life regression sort of. So I thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And yeah, it's all right there, isn't it?
Yep.
And you know, which wolf do we feed? Or, you know, like the old story.
Yep.
What do we
Yep.
pay attention to? So this is your granddaughter in the sunflower field?
And no, that's my daughter.
Daughter. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful young lady. And
But
then
she
you.
left. She left behind a 5-year-old. He just turned 5 today,
Mhm.
and she was 7 months pregnant when she
Oh my.
left this year or last year.
Yep. And how old was she when she went back to went to the next phase of life?
32.
32. Yeah. So it's very simple. In other words, here comes the year anniversary, and you could focus on that. And again, no
Yeah.
one could or should blame you if you do. Or you could say, thank you, God, for having 32 wonderful years with this evolved person. She kind of looks like an angel, what I call
Yep.
an earth angel.
Yeah.
And then notice how you feel after each one of those focuses.
Yeah, I've been going through that part of it too. That's why I said, you broke me wide open, because previous to what, the things that you were saying, that's what we try and strive to get to get through our grief and heal, is that stuff has also been happening. So it's like a twofold of what happened tonight. It's like beginning grief, middle grief, and now coming up around the bend to another part of the grief.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then having her 5-year-old child with me all the time, depending on me and stuff like that. And
Yeah, which
I
is a
think
lot
you
of work, but a lot of joy. Yeah, I get it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of gratitude, because it's like I'm getting a second chance to raise a child. And you talked about that too. There are some people that have never even had a child.
Yep.
So, and I have friends that have never had children, so I totally get that too.
He's going to keep you young.
Oh yeah, today I was like, all right, I'm ready for you to go home for 24 hours.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for sharing. God bless you.
Thank
God
you.
bless
And
you.
we have someone else. Donna is saying that she went into the deepest meditation she's ever been in. My son was here. I felt him and heard him. I do have trouble with imagery. I felt so much love and peace. It was beautiful. So thank you. Donna, are you willing to unmute if I can find you? Let's see, I don't know if your picture is on, if your video's on. Could you wave your hand if you are? Let's see. I recognize you. I just don't. Oh, there you are. I see you. Okay. Can you unmute and talk to Mark?
Hi there, Mark. How are you?
Hello. Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
And you have a question, or I heard what you had typed in.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, I've meditated many times, but I just felt so much peace and love. And my problem, I'm not going to call it a problem. Imagery. When you say to see yourself walking the 10 stones, I have problems actually seeing things.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's part of my longer introduction, but we try to get to the session. Different people have different sensory orientations. So some people are more auditory, they hear. Others more kinesthetic, they feel. Others more cognitive, they have know. So that's why I said see, hear, feel, know yourself. So that's fine if you can't see. A lot of people can't, or some people can't.
Okay.
Yeah, and it sounds like this actually turned into a bit of a visit with your son, and that's fine. Yeah, that's a different technique, but yeah, that's if you read article number 9 at soulproof.com, it's called visiting with your quote departed loved ones now, and talks about some different ways. And Elizabeth, perhaps you can share where people can go on the site and experience that recording.
Yes, I did. I did put what the 2 recordings were. I gave those YouTube addresses as well. And we have some other people saying things as well. So I appreciate it, Donna, so much. Thank you for speaking. And Joe is saying a wonderful, deeply connecting place of love and healing, as well as the clarity and the the process brought. Absolutely amazing and heartwarming. Thank you. To appreciate, realize, and transform. Oh my goodness. So beautiful, and what a gift to my heart and for others, I bet. Thank you for what a wonderful technique gift. So I was wondering if maybe we can also bring Jo on, who actually is from New Zealand. As I might have said already, here she is. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Could you possibly say something to Mark, which would be wonderful?
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Thank you for such a wonderful gift of the technique to be able to delve deeper. And
Could you get a little closer to your mic, please? I'm half hard of hearing.
Sorry. It's a wonderful gift to be able to meditate. However, to be able to follow a process of steps, you know, with the realize and the appreciate and the transform, is to be able to look more clearly and dissect, perhaps, I felt, which has given me a lot of clarity. It's a beautiful gift. Thank you so much.
Well, it's my pleasure. And there's a wonderful, I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember the comedian Bob Newhart. And he has a beautiful YouTube video if you search for Stop It. That's just it, the Stop It technique. And it's like a 5-minute video. And that will, in fact, that's your homework for everybody. You'll laugh your heads off, and it will really help you remember how simple it is to stop the thoughts, words, or deeds you don't want and replace them with higher energy ones. And then your kids will go, yeah, Mom, way to rock it. By the way, in our research, Elizabeth mentioned the research that's going on at the University of Arizona to perfect communication technology. Part of what we have to do, whether it's seeing post-material persons or hearing them, is to identify what's the optimal frequency. You know, they operate in a certain frequency, just like different radio stations are on AM 100 or FM 96. Well, we know that those who have changed worlds typically are living in a high energy. You know, we talked about love, peace, joy, all that. And so the more we can choose moment to moment to choose those higher feeling thoughts, the closer we are to that same wavelength as our kid. And then guess what? That's when we start having these little signs, detect their presence, you know, wonderful dreams, etc. So there's lots of reasons to be motivated to put a little work into doing this.
That's wonderful about you telling about this video. Iris, it looks like, has already watched it. She said, love that Bob Newhart video. It's so funny and so true. I just wanted to remark that Anna Molina, a lot of these people are affiliate leaders. It's so much fun to have all of them on. Actually, all 4 that we've had so far. She said that she had total silence. It has been very difficult for her to do this and be able to be in that stage, but total silence, total peace, silence. So I'm really glad to hear that it was peaceful as well for you, Anna. And then Sandra is saying, I loved how Mark worked with our entire body to relax from head to toe. Appreciate this so much. We'll use this technique in the morning as she's a morning person, when I really do much better. Can't wait. Thank you. And I just wanted to, and Cheryl is saying this was an amazing experience. Thank you for the skills to learn to relax and lead us in this journey. So transformational. And let's see. Gina is saying, due to the fact that I had a baby to suddenly raise, I don't believe I ever really went through the stages of grief. Tonight, I saw anger in my 3 situations. After each review, Nick simply said, let it go, which is beautiful. So I think that everyone was able to take something away from this, and it'll be available now on our YouTube channel so that people can redo this if they're interested to in doing so. And we have just a few minutes left before the end of the 90 minutes. Mark, do you have any parting words of wisdom for all of our parents about this technique, or about maybe everything that's happening that we're going through right now?
Elizabeth, you know, I always have some extra words to share. So just imagine that there really is a God, and there really is a loving and fair, equitable universe. And our loved ones are just, it's like they're in a different room of the same house. But in the past, you've been walking around looking through a tiny pinhole. And it's like, I can't see my kid, you know, I can't see God, I can't see anything but hopelessness and darkness. And all of this is about opening your vision more, becoming more aware. The more you see, more the greater reality, the totality of life, the more everything makes sense. And that's, Voltaire said, God is like a comedian playing to an audience that's too afraid to laugh, because really it's a cosmic joke. I mean, when people drop their body and they return into the light, they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is what I feared, you know, let's have a big party. And they see the big picture and they realize we're all one and we're all interconnected. You couldn't not live and if you tried, and you couldn't lose one of your soulmates if you tried. You can't shake them loose. So the more you can see that, the more then you can live with joy and peace, and then be a light to others. You know, like the Bible talks about, don't hide your light under a bushel. Let it shine, bless others, do what you came here to do. So life can really be this wonderful adventure when we awaken some, when we see more of that big picture. So I hope this helps you do it. I have 88 now. Somebody stop me, please. Articles on my website, soulproof.com. I have lots of free radio shows. I interviewed Wayne Dyer and Raymond Moody and Brian Weiss, and you name it, Michael Newton. And so at the top tab, it says radio shows on soulproof.com. You get to hear their answers to questions I ask, including why do children die? And all those free articles. So lots of wonderful resources there. Everything you need to help you deal with this and enjoy the greatest life of your dreams. Again, it's an honor or privilege to be here. God bless you all.
Yes,
Thank you
Mark.
so much. And we always make sure that Irene unmutes everyone so that people can
Yes,
say
they
thank
can.
you and
Thank you.
bye. And thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
Mark.
Mark.
Thank
Thank
you
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
Give me some hugs then.
Bye-bye.
Some hugs.
Bye-bye.
Virtual hugs.
Thank you, Mark.
you.
Bye,
See you.
everybody.
Thank you, Mark.
See you tomorrow.